Hello Idle Hero fans, thank you for tuning in today, as I'm going to be doing a video about Belrain, and I hope I'm saying her name right, because I've been getting a lot of flack for saying these names improperly recently, but I do apologize for that. But anyway, let's get right into the video. One of the first things I want to point out, I don't know if this is just on the private server or not, but for some reason when you click her character, she has that little voice line, and it is very long. So I find it funny that they're going with those longer voice lines, because I always found that funny, specifically with Walter as well. His is ridiculously over the top. But not only that, but if you pay attention to her cape, kind of like, or her cloak, you can see that when you click on her, it actually stays in the front layer for some reason. So when she returns her staff, it actually goes through the cape, and same with her chin actually. Her chin actually goes behind the cape for some particular reason. Not sure why that happens, just a funny thing I thought I'd point out. Anyway, her stats are 468,000 health, which is pretty good. It's not bad. It seems to be about average for what we're looking at these days. Her attack is 31,000. Again, seems just about average. 1,500 armor. Again, very average. So we have a pretty average spread so far. But unfortunately, her speed is very low. It's 1132. And with the current meta having so many fast heroes in it, that may be to a detriment. However, there are ways that you can use this appropriately. For example, if she is in the #1 spot, because she is so slow, she will most likely use her ability on turn 1 without having to use an energy artifact, because she will have gotten hit a few times, and you only need to get hit 5 times before your ability is fully charged if you have the 50 starting energy that you begin with. So you can kind of use that to your advantage. Unfortunately, it is going to leave her weak to crowd control on the first turn. But one of the things I'd like to point out is that as we're moving forward, I think teams are going to start moving more into a light and dark only meta. Not just like light and dark GVE teams, but a full light or a full dark team. And once you get into those team comps, you're going to see a lot more crowd control reduction from the actual aura that you get, as well as the fact that you can give her crowd control reduction from her enhance upgrade as well if you wanted to. I'm not sure I would recommend this, but you can also give her that stone sword artifact, which gives her another area of crowd control reduction, as well as good damage. And as we'll get into in a little bit, damage actually plays very well on her. So there are ways you can take advantage of her low speed, but it still is a detriment. No matter what way you look at it, it's not going to be as good as having fast, like an incredibly fast speed would be, but because it is so low, there are ways you can play around it. If you're not going to have a top tier speed, I would definitely rather have a lower one like this, because it at least gives you an avenue to play around with. Her first ability is all enemies take 108% of her attack as damage. Backline allies increase their attack by 30% and their speed by 30 for 3 rounds. Now, this is very good. I consider the damage is kind of not too important. Her attack is okay, but 108% is not great, so she's not going to be like one-shotting anybody, or even really probably adding meaningful damage in terms of how, like, if she's able to help bring down enemies quicker. Of course, any damage is nice, but the attack bonus is very good. Now, it does last for 3 rounds, so that specifically being the case would mean if she goes last on the first turn and uses her ability, the next rotation of abilities that your team uses will have that bonus, but that's going to be pretty much it. See, and that's one of the drawbacks to having such a low speed, is that when you give someone, or give your team 30% attack bonus, if she was incredibly fast and could give that attack bonus early, that would be super impactful, so that the first rotation becomes stronger. But because it really relies on the second rotation, it's going to be a lot harder to get that off effectively. Same with the speed. The speed is nice because it does mean that your team is more likely to get their second rotation off quicker than your opponent, so that is a boon in the right direction, but ultimately it is a little bit of a hindrance. But I'm gonna take a jump here and go right to her last passive, because I think this is kind of what balances out her speed in the first place, and that is that after she dies, she will heal all allies for 600% attack for 4 rounds. Now, it says this can only trigger once. That seems a bit redundant, but the amount of healing you get from this is absolutely ridiculous. 600% attack is insanely high. It's probably the highest base number modifier you can get in the game without adding any other stats to it. So, for example, like Aiden and Flamestrike can probably hit for higher numbers when you add up everything together. But having this 600 flat is very strong. So the thing about having her abilities impact the second rotation, it's not half as bad as it might seem, because they will very likely survive if she goes down first. And that again plays into the fact that you want her almost as a frontliner so that she can get hit a bunch of times, cast this spell on turn 1 without having to have an energy artifact. You can give her an attack-based artifact so that all of her damage is much higher, as well as this 600% attack-based heal is going to do incredible work to keep your team alive through the second and third round, to ensure that a few of your heroes do get to take advantage of that attack bonus, as well as survive, because the 600% attack, do not underestimate how much this is going to heal. This is going to be absolutely ridiculous when this does go off. So we're going to jump back to her second passive, or first passive second ability here, and that is that it increases her health by 30% and her attack by 45%. And this is another one of those things that kind of makes her a unique hero in the fact that her attack is actually going to get very high. Anyone who's been a frequent around for a while has definitely seen people who've posted images or like have shown their heroes in the global chat, where you'll see like a queen with an absorbent amount of a power and attack because of this kind of passive. Attack plus 45% means that anytime you're adding more attack to her via armor or gems or artifacts, you're going to get an incredible bonus out of it, because you're essentially getting a 1.5 multiplier on top of that. Of course, it's not exactly that, but for simplified math, it makes it easy to calculate how much you're going to get out of these heals. So this is going to make her heals, specifically from this Lost or Light of Souls, incredibly powerful. And having HP plus 30 does kind of defeat the purpose when you're trying to have her die quickly so she can get this ability to proc. You basically want her to use the Holy Light Sparkle and then have her die and proc that healing that makes your team invulnerable. However, it still will allow her, if she doesn't die, to cast multiple Holy Light Sparkles, which will of course be even better because you're going to have that extended over a long course of a fight. Plus the fact that her second passive is that when she does use basic attacks, 3 random allies will gain 220% of her attack as healing for 2 rounds. Now 2 rounds is kind of short for healing. This is a little unusual, but the fact that it's 220% attack on top of an average attack stat modified by 45% attack bonus from her Divine Awakening, plus the fact that, like I said earlier, you don't have to put an energy artifact on her, you don't have to put a speed artifact on her, you can go pure attack from her gem, you can go pure attack from artifact, and you can go pure attack, of course you're going to get attack anyway from like the guild tech. So there's going to be a ton of things working in favor, and these abilities all synergize very well. So I feel like she's kind of underrated right now, and I think as we move forward, like I said earlier, into full light and dark teams, every successful full light team will definitely have Belrain on it. She is a very strong healer, and when combined with things like crowd control mitigation and bonus attack from her gem and artifact, and of course the base 45 she's going to get from this, she's going to be healing an absolute crazy amount. And her attack damage is going to be okay as well. I think that's one of the things that's going to go underrated here. It's not going to be like Vesa, I don't feel, where her heals and her damage are both crazy, but I do feel like she can play a better role, because when she dies, she still has an insane impact on the fight. And Vesa does this similar with her silence when she gets below 50% health, but I actually think that this healing is going to be way more impactful as you start seeing more people use it, and it's going to change a lot of fights, and people are not going to expect it because there's not a lot of people focusing Belrain right now. A lot of people who got the anniversary coins spent them on Mim, so we're going to see very few Belrains, and the ones that you do are probably going to catch you off guard, and it's going to make for some interesting meta changes going forward as we start to see more people develop into those full light and dark teams. So anyway, guys, tell me what you think of Belrain and how you feel about her in the current meta, how you think she's going to make progress into the kind of evolving to light and dark, and what do you think of her base stats? How do you feel about that speed? Is that something that she can't overcome, or do you agree with me that there are strategies that you can implement to take advantage of that? Because speed is very detrimental in PvP. It's not half a big deal as it is in PvE though, and she's going to be a strong healer for that as well. So stacking her attack plus 30% for PvE is going to be great. Healing a lot is also going to be great when you're fighting tough marauders that do a ton of damage, especially with this ridiculous 600% healing. So overall, tell me what you guys think of this hero, and how do you think she's going to be used moving forward. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.